Imagine you are sitting in a quiet room. No one is around. No one is talking. But suddenly, a memory comes up. Something someone said last week. A small comment. Maybe it was just a look. And without realizing it, your heart beats faster, your chest tightens, your thoughts race. Why? They're not even here. Imagine walking into a room, and one person's bad mood changes your whole day. You felt okay before, but now you're anxious, angry, or just down. Again, they didn't even say much. Yet something inside you shifted. Why does that happen? Have you ever replayed a conversation over and over in your mind, trying to figure out what you should have said, or why they acted that way? Do you carry those words like invisible weight, long after the moment has passed? Why is it that we let others' moods, opinions, or even silence change how we feel inside? And how would life be different? How free would we feel if we didn't get affected so easily by what others do or say? Think of a candle in the wind, always shaking, never still. That's how our mind becomes when we are ruled by people's words, moods, or behavior. But imagine that candle placed inside a glass lantern, protected, calm. Even if the wind howls, the flame remains steady. Wouldn't you want that kind of peace in your life? Welcome to Wisdom Woven, a space where we look deeper, slow down, and uncover timeless truths, especially from the wisdom of Buddhism. If you're searching for peace, balance, and strength that no one can take away from you, you're in the right place. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So please, like, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps more people find this space, and helps you never miss what's coming next. In this journey, we begin with one powerful idea. You don't have to be moved by everything that moves around you. Buddhism teaches us that our suffering doesn't come from what others do. It comes from how we cling to their actions, how we let them enter our inner space. We will explore how to build a strong, quiet place within, a place where the noise of the world can't reach. Not by cutting people off or pretending, but by understanding how the mind works. In Buddhism, there's a story of a man who was insulted, but instead of reacting, he smiled and said, "If someone offers you a gift, and you don't take it, to whom does it belong?" That story isn't just wise. It's a doorway to freedom. Each part of this series will guide you deeper into this freedom, bit by bit, gently, clearly, and with stories, examples, and practices that anyone, especially in the second half of life, can truly understand. So if you're tired of being shaken by every comment, if you want to feel steady, grounded, and peaceful no matter who walks in or what they say, stay with us. You're not just watching a video, you're starting a shift in your life. Let's begin. The mirror mind, how perception shapes our suffering. Let's begin by understanding how the mind works. Imagine your mind as a mirror. It reflects everything you see, hear, and experience. When you look into a mirror, what do you see? The mirror simply reflects what's in front of it, nothing more, nothing less. It doesn't judge or react. It just shows. Now, think about how you approach the world. When someone says something to you, what happens? You hear the words, and immediately your mind starts to interpret them. It starts reflecting your thoughts, your beliefs, your past experiences. If the words are harsh, you may feel hurt. If they are kind, you may feel uplifted. But the key is this: the words themselves are neutral. What makes them powerful is how your mind perceives them. This is where suffering begins. We start to believe that what others do or say causes us pain. But it's not the words that hurt us. It's our reaction to them. The words are like a stone thrown into a pond. The stone creates ripples, but it's the ripples that disturb the water. If the pond could remain still, the stone would cause no trouble. But because the water moves, the stone has an effect. When we react to things, we are like that pond. The mind gets disturbed by whatever is thrown at it. Someone insults us, and the mind reacts. Someone praises us, and the mind reacts again. This constant movement is exhausting. It keeps us from peace. Think about a time when someone criticized you. What happened inside? Did your heart tighten? Did your thoughts become clouded? This is how we get caught in the cycle. We believe that their words have power over us. But really, it is the story we create in our mind about their words that causes the discomfort. We take the words, hold on to them, and let them affect our peace. We forget that the mind is like a mirror. It only reflects what we give it. In Buddhism, there's a teaching called non-attachment. This doesn't mean that we don't care or that we shut ourselves off from the world. It means that we do not cling to things, whether they are pleasant or unpleasant. We don't let them shape our inner world. When you let go of attachment to your reactions, you free yourself. You no longer allow the mirror of your mind to reflect only what disturbs you. Think about how different life would be if you didn't hold on to every little thing. What if, instead of reacting immediately, you allowed yourself to pause? To take a moment and ask, is this really mine to carry? Imagine that. How many moments of peace would we reclaim if we stopped taking things personally? Buddha said, "You will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger." This means that the only real harm is when we cling to our emotions, when we allow them to fester. They eat away at us, not the situation itself, but our inability to let it go. When you understand this, you begin to see how your mind shapes your suffering. It's not the external world that causes you to suffer. It's your attachment to it. Your mind holds on to experiences, both good and bad, and then creates more pain. Letting go of this attachment doesn't mean you become indifferent. It means you reclaim your power. You take back control of how you react to the world. You stop allowing others to dictate your peace. This is why Buddhism speaks so much about the importance of meditation. Meditation teaches us to observe the mind without attachment. We sit quietly, watch our thoughts, and allow them to come and go. We don't chase them. We don't hold on to them. We simply let them pass, like clouds moving across the sky. The clouds may come in many shapes, but they don't stay forever. If we don't grasp at them, they will eventually disappear. Life, too, is like that. Everything comes and goes. The good, the bad, the happy, the sad. These are all temporary. When you learn to see this, when you practice this, you stop holding on to things that don't last. And in this release, there is peace. Think about a moment of anger. Anger is a strong emotion. It arises quickly, burning hot. But if you stop in that moment and breathe, you can feel the anger begin to fade. It's not that the anger goes away immediately, but you stop feeding it. The fire starts to die down because you aren't adding more fuel to it. This is where true freedom lies. You cannot control what others say or do, but you can control how you respond. And the more you practice this, the stronger your inner peace becomes. When you stop reacting to everything that happens, you begin to find stillness. This stillness is not the absence of life. It's the presence of clarity. Imagine waking up each day with a peaceful mind, regardless of what happens around you. Imagine that no matter who speaks to you, you are not disturbed. You may hear their words, but they do not touch you. The peace you carry inside cannot be shaken. This is the life of someone who understands the mirror mind. When we learn to see life through this lens, we stop giving away our power. We stop being at the mercy of what others do. We stop believing that their actions define us. Instead, we know that we are the ones who shape our peace. Our mind is like the mirror. It reflects what we choose to show it. Now, this doesn't mean that we stop caring about others. It doesn't mean we stop feeling emotions. It means we stop allowing external things to control our emotions. We stop giving others the keys to our happiness. Think of the last time you felt truly peaceful. Was it because someone said something kind to you? Or was it because you decided, deep inside, that no matter what happened, you would remain calm? True peace comes from within. It comes from knowing that you are not a victim of the world. You are a participant, and your mind is the lens through which you experience everything. And here's the secret. You can choose how you experience the world. The more you practice letting go, the more you will see that you are not bound by anyone's words or actions. You are free to live in peace. This is the wisdom of Buddhism. It's simple, but it requires practice. It's not about changing the world. It's about changing how you see the world. So, the next time something happens, whether good or bad, take a moment. Pause. Ask yourself, what story am I telling myself? And then, ask, do I need to hold on to this story? In that moment, you will have the choice to either cling to the story or let it go. If you choose to let it go, you will feel a freedom like never before. The mirror of your mind is clear. It reflects the world without distortion. And when you see the world clearly, you see that you are not defined by it. You are not a victim. You are a witness. And from that place, you can find true peace. This is the power of understanding how perception shapes suffering. It's not the world outside of you that needs to change. It's how you choose to see it. When you change your perception, the world changes with you. And with that change, peace becomes your natural state. Detached to defend, the power of non-attachment. There's a story in Buddhism about a wise monk. One day, a man came to him, filled with anger and frustration. The man had been insulted by someone in his village. He was upset, holding on to the hurt words like they were his only possession. He went to the monk to ask how to deal with this anger, this feeling of being wronged. The monk looked at him and smiled. He asked, "Tell me, my friend, if someone offers you a gift, and you refuse to take it, to whom does the gift belong?" The man thought for a moment and said, "It would belong to the person offering it." The monk nodded. "And if someone offers you anger, but you don't accept it, who does the anger belong to?" The man's eyes widened, and suddenly he understood. The anger, the insult, the hurt, none of it had to be his. It only became his when he chose to hold on to it. This simple story holds a powerful truth, one that can change how we live our lives. The truth is this: you do not have to accept what others try to give you. You don't have to accept their anger, their harsh words, their judgment, or even their love if it doesn't serve you. You are not a sponge meant to absorb every emotion that is thrown your way. In life, we often become attached to things. We get attached to what people say about us, to how they look at us, and to how they treat us. But attachment only brings suffering. When we are attached to something, we believe it can make or break us. We rely on it to feel whole, and when it's taken away or changed, we feel empty, angry, or lost. The problem is that we think we need those things to be okay. But the truth is, we don't. Buddhism teaches that attachment is a root cause of suffering. Attachment is like holding on to a burning coal, thinking it will give you warmth. In reality, it only burns you. The more we hold on to things, the more we suffer. Whether it's a person's opinion, a memory, a material object, or even an outcome we desire, attachment chains us to the very thing that causes us pain. Imagine for a moment, if you could live without attaching your peace to anything outside of you. What if, no matter what someone said, no matter how the world treated you, you could remain calm, unshaken, steady? That doesn't mean you stop caring or stop feeling. It doesn't mean you become cold or indifferent. It simply means that your peace, your happiness, and your self-worth are not dependent on the shifting moods or actions of the outside world. You can choose to detach. But detachment doesn't mean you stop engaging with the world. It doesn't mean you stop loving or stop working hard. It simply means that your mind is not swayed by the fleeting nature of things. You can give your time, your effort, and your love freely, but without holding on to the outcome. You can be in the world, but not of the world. Think about a tree standing firm in the wind. The wind blows fiercely, and yet the tree does not break. It bends, it sways, but it does not fall. Why? Because it's rooted deeply in the earth, in something solid and unchanging. You too can become like that tree. When you are rooted in your own inner peace, in your own sense of worth that comes from within, not from others, you are like the tree. The storms of life can blow, the opinions of others can come and go, but you remain steady, calm, and whole. Detachment is not about ignoring emotions or pretending to be unaffected. It's about recognizing that your emotions are valid, but they do not define you. Emotions come and go, but you are the space in which they arise. You can feel anger, sadness, or frustration, but you do not have to let those emotions dictate your reactions or your life. They are simply visitors, not permanent residents. Take a moment and think about the last time someone hurt you with their words. How long did it stay with you? Maybe it was a few hours, maybe even days. And how much of that pain was actually caused by their words, and how much of it was caused by your attachment to those words? You see, we are often more hurt by our own attachment to the situation than the situation itself. This is where the power of non-attachment comes in. Non-attachment allows us to experience the world fully without becoming entangled in it. We can enjoy relationships, work, and all of life's gifts, but without clinging to them as if they are the only things that define us. When we practice non-attachment, we are free to give love, to express ourselves, and to experience life without fear of loss or disappointment. Now, you might wonder, how can you practice detachment in your own life? It starts with awareness. Begin to notice when you are attaching yourself to things, whether it's a particular outcome, someone's approval, or a specific desire. Ask yourself, why do I feel the need to hold on to this? Does it truly bring me peace? Does it define who I am? Or is it just a passing moment, something that will change in time? As you begin to notice these attachments, gently let them go. Let go of the need to control. Let go of the desire to fix or change things that are beyond your control. This doesn't mean you become passive or indifferent. It simply means you acknowledge that you are not the keeper of other people's emotions or actions. You can only control your own mind, your own reactions. Detachment also doesn't mean cutting off relationships or avoiding people. In fact, it often leads to more genuine connections. When you are not attached to what people think of you, you can love them more freely, without the fear of judgment. You can listen to them more fully, without the need to defend or explain yourself. You can live more openly, without the pressure of living up to anyone's expectations. True freedom comes when we stop allowing the outside world to shape our inner world. When we detach, we defend our peace from the storm of opinions, criticisms, and expectations. We become like the lotus flower, rooted in muddy waters but rising above them, untouched by the dirt around it. Every time you let go of an attachment, every time you choose not to hold on to someone's anger, their criticism, or their love, you become more like that tree in the storm. You stand firm, unshaken, and rooted in something deeper than the temporary world around you. You become free, and in that freedom, you find true peace. Detach to defend. Defend your inner peace. Let go, and let life flow through you, without holding on to the things that weigh you down. Detach to defend, the power of non-attachment. The more we hold on to something, the more it has power over us. Whether it's a possession, a person, or even a particular idea of who we are, the more tightly we grip, the more easily we can be hurt, shaken, or knocked off balance. In Buddhism, we call this the practice of non-attachment. It's not about pushing away or ignoring. It's about understanding that true peace comes when we let go of the things that do not serve us, things that only cause us to suffer. Think about how you feel when someone criticizes you. Do you instantly feel hurt? Do you feel your chest tighten or your face flush with frustration? This is attachment in action. When you hold on to the idea of how you should be treated, or the belief that everyone should always agree with you, any slight feels like an attack on who you are. But this is where the power of non-attachment comes in. You don't have to take it personally. Imagine a leaf falling from a tree. It's part of nature. The leaf doesn't hold on to the tree, desperately clinging to its place. It simply lets go, floats freely, and follows the natural course of things. If we can practice detachment, we can be like that leaf. No matter how strong the wind blows or how much the tree sways, we can float, unaffected by the turbulence. When we practice detachment, we aren't ignoring the world or pretending it doesn't matter. We are simply choosing not to be controlled by it. We let go of the need to constantly seek approval, validation, or to be right all the time. Instead, we focus on what truly matters: inner peace, balance, and understanding. When we detach, we are not rejecting love, relationships, or connection. We are rejecting the idea that we need them to be whole, because we are whole already. There's a powerful teaching in Buddhism that says, the root of suffering is attachment. We think that by holding on to things, people, or situations, we are securing our happiness. But the opposite is true. It's in holding on to these things that we lose our peace. We begin to fear losing them, or worry about how we will feel without them. But this fear only causes more suffering. The practice of non-attachment teaches us to embrace life as it is, without holding on to it too tightly. In our daily lives, we hold on to things without even realizing it. It might be a need for approval from others. It might be a belief that life must unfold in a certain way for us to be happy. It could even be the stories we tell ourselves about who we are. We may think we need to be successful, loved, or admired to be worthy. But none of these things are the source of your peace. You are already worthy. You are already whole. The moment you stop holding on to these external validations is the moment you start to experience true freedom. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care or that you become cold and indifferent. It's quite the opposite. When you detach, you are able to care without clinging. You can love without fear. You can be present without worrying about losing the moment. Detachment allows you to enjoy things for what they are, without being ruled by them. You can love people deeply, but you don't depend on them for your happiness. You can work hard and strive for success, but you don't let failure define your worth. This practice of detachment isn't easy. It requires self-awareness and patience. It takes time to unlearn the patterns of attachment we've built over a lifetime. But it's worth the effort. Imagine living a life where you aren't constantly at the mercy of other people's moods, opinions, or actions. Imagine being able to stay calm and composed no matter what happens around you. This isn't a fantasy, it's entirely possible, and it begins with the practice of letting go. Buddhism offers many tools to help us practice detachment, such as mindfulness and meditation. These practices help us observe our thoughts and emotions without getting swept away by them. We start to notice when we are holding on to something too tightly, and we can choose to let go. We begin to recognize that our true nature is peaceful, balanced, and unchanging, even when the world around us is in turmoil. In Buddhism, there's also a concept called impermanence. Everything in life is constantly changing. People come and go. Situations change. Our bodies grow older. The weather shifts. When we resist this natural flow of change, we cause ourselves unnecessary pain. But when we accept impermanence, when we understand that everything is in constant motion, we can detach with grace. We realize that nothing lasts forever, so we stop clinging to things that aren't meant to stay. We start to live in harmony with the natural flow of life, accepting each moment for what it is, without trying to control or hold on to it. This doesn't mean we become passive or detached from life. Far from it. It means we become active participants, but without attachment. We do our best, love with all our hearts, and engage in life fully, but we don't cling. We don't try to possess the moment or the people in our lives. We appreciate them for what they are, and we let them go when it's time. Consider the idea of a river. The river flows freely, embracing whatever comes its way. It doesn't hold on to the rocks or the trees that fall into it. It simply moves around them, and they flow away. In the same way, we can allow life to flow through us. We can meet challenges, joys, sorrows, and celebrations with a calm and open heart, without trying to control or hold on to any of them. When we practice detachment, we stop identifying ourselves with things outside of us. We stop seeing our worth in the way others treat us or in what we have. We stop believing that we are defined by our achievements, possessions, or relationships. Our true identity, according to Buddhism, lies beyond all of that. It lies in the stillness within. As you go through your day, pay attention to moments when you feel attached. When do you feel like you need something or someone to be a certain way for you to be okay? When do you start worrying about losing something? Notice these moments. These are opportunities for you to practice detachment. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to let go. And with each letting go, you will feel lighter, freer, and more peaceful. Your mind will become like a calm lake, undisturbed by the winds of external circumstances. You will find that you are no longer at the mercy of people or situations. Instead, you are the peaceful observer, the stillness at the center of the storm. Detachment is not about rejecting life. It's about accepting it fully, without fear or need to control. It's about understanding that the only thing we truly own is our inner peace. And when we protect that peace by letting go of attachment, we create a life of freedom, joy, and deep contentment. Calm amid chaos, the art of inner stillness. There is a stillness in the center of a storm. Imagine for a moment a powerful storm, winds howling, rain pouring, and chaos everywhere. The trees bend, the leaves swirl in every direction. But at the very center of that storm, there is a quiet space. A calm, a place untouched by the fury around it. Now, what if I told you that inside of you, there is always a place like that? A calm within, no matter what happens on the outside. It's easy to get lost in the storm of life. The world around us is constantly changing. People argue, things break, problems arise, and everything feels unpredictable. It seems as if every moment holds a new crisis or challenge. But within all of that, there is the possibility of peace. The great teachers of Buddhism talk about something called equanimity. It's a kind of balance, a state where the mind is undisturbed, even in the face of discomfort. It's not about pretending nothing is wrong. It's about being so rooted in your inner peace that no matter what happens around you, you remain steady. Think of yourself like a tree. The winds of life can blow hard, but you do not have to fall. Your roots go deep into the earth, and they hold you firm. The storms will come. They always do. But your roots, the ones you nurture with practice, understanding, and patience, are what keep you grounded. The trouble is, most of us are like leaves in the wind. We react quickly. Someone says something, and we're immediately swept into an emotional whirlwind. We're upset. We're hurt. We're frustrated. It's natural. It's human. But it's also unnecessary. It doesn't have to be this way. The more we react to life, the less we feel in control. The less we can remain calm. The more we are like a leaf blown in the wind, the more we suffer. But here's the secret. The key to inner stillness is not in fighting the wind. It's in accepting the wind, but not allowing it to uproot us. In Buddhism, the practice of meditation is a tool to help us find this stillness. It's a way to calm the mind and body, and with regular practice, the effect starts to bleed into our everyday lives. When we sit in stillness, we learn to observe our thoughts without becoming them. We learn to watch our feelings without being carried away by them. Imagine you are sitting in a quiet room, and a loud noise suddenly interrupts your peace. You might feel irritated, your heart might race, and your mind might start to think, why is there so much noise? This is so annoying. But in that moment, you can choose to simply observe. The noise is outside of you. It's an event. It's not who you are. And in that space of observation, you don't get caught up in the story of the noise. You don't let it disturb your peace. This is the essence of inner stillness. It's not about controlling the world around you. It's about not allowing the world to control you. You might ask, but how do I achieve this? The answer is simple, yet not always easy. Through awareness. Through mindfulness. Through training the mind to see the world for what it is and not get swept away by it. Start by paying attention to the small moments in your life. Notice your reactions. Notice how often you react to things outside of you. Someone says something you don't like, and instantly, there's a reaction, a feeling, a thought. What if, instead of reacting, you simply took a deep breath and paused? That breath, that pause, is the gateway to peace. It's the moment where you don't react. You simply are. You are still. And yes, it might feel uncomfortable at first. Our minds are trained to react, to protect ourselves, to judge. But that's not the path to peace. The path to peace is in allowing the moment to unfold without resistance. This doesn't mean you become passive. It doesn't mean you ignore problems or hide from challenges. It means you face them from a place of stillness, a place where your mind is clear and your heart is calm. When you are still, you can see the situation clearly. You can respond from wisdom instead of reacting out of fear or anger. In moments of chaos, the mind can often become clouded. We can't think clearly. We act out of impulse. But when we learn to cultivate stillness, we give ourselves the space to respond with clarity. It's like looking at a pond. When the water is disturbed, it's hard to see anything beneath the surface. But when the water is calm, you can see everything. That calmness allows you to see the truth. It allows you to act with wisdom. The Zen teachings remind us that we must practice living our meditation. Meditation is not just something we do in a quiet room. It is something we bring into every moment. When we sit still in the morning, we are practicing. When we walk through the day with mindfulness, we are practicing. And when life becomes challenging, that practice is what allows us to remain rooted, like a tree. Imagine for a moment, again, that you are in the middle of a storm. People around you are frantic. They're yelling, arguing, or panicking. But you quiet, centered, calm, remain in your inner space of peace. You don't need to control what's going on around you. You don't need to change anyone's mind. You simply allow yourself to remain steady. This is the power of inner stillness. It's not about controlling the world. It's about being in control of how we respond to it. It's important to remember that we don't need to be perfect. No one is asking you to never feel upset or angry. The goal is not to suppress feelings, but to experience them without being lost in them. Feel the emotion, acknowledge it, and then allow it to pass. Like clouds moving through the sky. They come and go. The sky, the stillness, remains. The more you practice this, the more you'll notice that your response to life begins to change. You'll begin to feel more in control, less anxious, more peaceful. Even when the storm rages outside, you'll know there's a stillness within you that can never be disturbed. This practice of inner stillness isn't about escaping life or avoiding the storms. It's about learning to live with them without losing our peace. It's about becoming the calm in the storm. If you can cultivate this stillness, this inner peace, then no matter what life throws at you, you will always have a refuge to return to. A place of calm, no matter how chaotic the world around you becomes. And in that calm, you'll find a strength and resilience that no storm can shake. That, my friend, is the true art of stillness. It's not about running away from life, but facing it with clarity, compassion, and wisdom. In every moment, no matter what happens, you can choose peace. And in that peace, you will find the strength to face whatever comes next. So let us practice together. Let us learn to find the calm amidst the chaos. Because when we do, we are not just surviving, we are living fully, deeply, and with a sense of unshakable peace. The poisoned arrow, stopping the cycle of emotional reaction. Imagine a time when someone said something hurtful to you. It could have been a harsh word, an unfair judgment, or an unkind action. Now, think about how it felt. Maybe your heart sank. Perhaps your mind started racing with thoughts, trying to defend yourself, to explain, to react. How long did that feeling stay with you? Hours? Days? Weeks? Why does it linger so long? In our daily lives, we often experience moments where people do things or say things that hurt us. It's as though their actions strike us like an arrow, sharp and painful. But what if I told you that our suffering doesn't come from the arrow itself? What if it comes from the way we react to it, how we hold on to it, how we keep it alive in our minds? The Buddha once taught a powerful lesson using the story of the poisoned arrow. A man is shot with an arrow, and in pain, he starts asking 1,000 questions. Who shot this arrow? What type of wood is it made of? Why did they aim at me? What kind of poison is on it? The man, lost in these questions, spends all his time thinking about the arrow but never actually takes the time to pull it out and heal. His suffering grows because he refuses to deal with the immediate pain and instead becomes obsessed with everything around the pain. In a way, we all do this. Someone insults us, or life throws a difficult situation our way, and instead of simply acknowledging the pain and healing from it, we dive into endless thoughts about why it happened, who was responsible, what we could have done differently, and how unfair it is. This endless cycle of overthinking only keeps the pain alive, feeding it, prolonging it. Now, think about how this affects you. The moment someone hurts you, you may react. You might feel anger, sadness, frustration, or confusion. These emotions are natural. But here's the truth. The pain is not just in the situation itself. It's in how we react to it, how we choose to carry it with us. Just like the man in the story, we let the arrow stay lodged in us because we're caught up in everything else, except the simplest thing, healing the wound. We all have moments when people push our buttons, when they treat us in ways that seem unfair or hurtful. But in these moments, we have a choice. We can either pull the arrow out of ourselves, by accepting the situation for what it is and letting go of the need for explanations, justice, or revenge, or we can keep thinking about the arrow, letting it poison us with thoughts of anger, hurt, and resentment. It's hard, I know. When someone wrongs us, the first thing that comes up is often the desire to react. We feel that sting and instinctively want to protect ourselves. But here's the key. You don't have to react to every pain. Pain will come, it's part of life. But suffering? Suffering comes from how we respond to that pain. The Buddha calls this the second arrow. The first arrow is the painful experience, but the second arrow is the one we shoot at ourselves when we react with anger, bitterness, or regret. Let's pause and think for a moment. Imagine you're standing in a crowd. Someone pushes you. It hurts, but you're still standing. Then, a moment later, you start thinking about the person who pushed you. You imagine their face, their intentions, the frustration of the whole situation. Now, that initial pain you felt from the push has doubled, because you're replaying it over and over in your mind. You've shot yourself with that second arrow. And it's the second arrow that truly causes the suffering. Buddhism teaches us that our reactions to life's challenges are what create our suffering, not the challenges themselves. The more we cling to our feelings, the more we feed them, the longer we stay trapped in the cycle of emotional reaction. But when we stop reacting and instead take a step back, we begin to free ourselves. Just like pulling the arrow out, this moment of pause is where healing begins. How do we stop reacting? How do we begin to let go of these harmful cycles? The answer lies in mindfulness, the practice of simply observing what is happening within and around us without judgment. When we notice ourselves reacting, we can take a breath, observe the feelings, and simply allow them to pass without clinging to them. Instead of letting the feelings control us, we can choose to let them be, without feeding them. Think of the last time someone made you angry. In that moment, your body and mind were ready to react. Maybe your heart raced. Your thoughts started spinning. But what if you had taken a deep breath and simply watched those feelings rise and fall without reacting? What if, instead of firing back with a harsh word or holding on to that anger, you allowed the feeling to be, without judgment, without attachment? This isn't about suppressing your emotions. It's about noticing them without letting them take control. It's about creating space between the initial pain and your reaction to it. The more you practice this, the more you can live in a way that's unshaken by what happens around you. It's also important to remember that life will always present arrows, pain, difficulties, misunderstandings. But the key is not to avoid them, but to not let them dictate how you feel. We can't control the arrows that come our way, but we can control how we respond to them. We can choose peace. We can choose to heal. Think about it like this. Every time you react to someone's negativity with your own negativity, you're adding more poison to your own life. But every time you let go of that reaction, you are healing yourself, protecting your inner peace. And over time, you'll notice that the more you practice this, the less affected you become by the actions of others. This is the true freedom that Buddhism speaks of, not freedom from pain or difficulty, but freedom from the emotional cycles that keep us trapped in suffering. When we stop reacting, we stop suffering. And in this freedom, we find the peace that is always available to us, no matter what's happening around us. So, the next time you feel hurt, remember, you don't have to react. You don't have to keep the arrow in your heart. You can choose to let it go. And by doing so, you choose freedom. Freedom from pain. Freedom from suffering. Freedom to live in peace, no matter what. When we stop reacting, we start healing. And in healing, we start living fully, without being shaken by the things that once would have kept us in pain. This is the power of letting go of the second arrow. This is how we stop the cycle of emotional reaction. And this is how we begin to walk the path of true peace. Mind like water, responding without absorbing. Imagine you're standing by a calm lake. The water is still. Its surface is smooth, undisturbed by anything. Suddenly, a stone is thrown into the water. It creates ripples, small waves that quickly fade away, returning the surface to its natural state. The water doesn't cling to the stone. It doesn't keep the ripples. It simply returns to its natural state of peace, unaffected by the disruption. Now think about your mind. When someone throws a stone of negativity, criticism, or even anger at you, how do you react? Do you hold on to those feelings like the water holds onto the stone, letting it stir you up, create waves, and disrupt your peace? Or do you let the stone fall and simply return to your natural state of calm? This is the essence of responding without absorbing. In the teachings of Buddhism, the mind is often compared to water, clear, pure, and undisturbed by external events. Yet, our minds are not always like this. We are often like a lake full of ripples, reacting to every stone that is thrown at us. We take offense. We take anger. We absorb negativity, and we carry it with us, sometimes for days, weeks, or even years. Why do we let this happen? Why do we hold on to things that are not ours to carry? We often absorb what others say or do because we believe that their words or actions are reflections of us. We believe that their negativity must mean something about our worth, about our value, or about who we are. But here's the truth. Their actions, their words, their moods, they have nothing to do with you. Just as the water doesn't absorb the stone, you don't have to absorb the emotions, criticisms, or judgments of others. When we allow ourselves to believe that we must react to everything, we become like a sponge, soaking up everything around us. This leaves us full of unwanted emotions that we didn't even ask for. In Buddhism, this idea is known as non-attachment. It's not about ignoring or dismissing other people's feelings or opinions. It's about not letting them control how we feel inside. When you respond to someone with anger or defensiveness, you've absorbed what they've thrown at you. You've let their energy shift your inner state. But when you practice non-attachment, you begin to let things go. You recognize that people's actions are their responsibility, not yours. The Zen master teaches, the bird does not pick the grain it does not need. What does this mean? It means that we don't have to take on things that don't serve us. When someone insults you, it's like a grain being thrown your way. You don't need to pick it up. You don't need to carry it around. You can simply let it pass by, just like the water lets the stone sink and fade away. Imagine the peace that comes from not taking things personally. Imagine the freedom you would feel if you could let others' actions simply be what they are, without them changing your mood, your peace, or your energy. It's not about being cold or indifferent. It's about being strong enough to remain undisturbed. The Buddha often spoke of the power of our minds. He said, "We are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world." What does this mean for us? It means that our reactions are not caused by what others do or say, they are caused by our own minds. We decide how to react. We decide how much space we give to their words or actions. But how do we begin to practice this? How do we learn to respond without absorbing? The first step is awareness. You must first become aware of your own reactions. Notice when someone's words or actions trigger you. Pay attention to the physical sensations in your body. Do your shoulders tense up? Does your stomach feel tight? Does your mind race? These are signs that you are absorbing what's happening around you. You are reacting instead of responding. Once you become aware, you can begin to create space between the event and your response. You don't have to react immediately. Take a moment. Breathe. Remind yourself that you are in control of your own mind. You can choose how to respond. You can choose to let go of the negative energy and return to your natural state of calm. This is where mindfulness practice comes in. Mindfulness helps you to stay present in the moment and not get swept away by the past or future. When you practice mindfulness, you are training your mind to be like water. You are practicing letting go of things that don't serve you, just as water lets go of the ripples that pass through it. You don't have to take everything personally. You don't have to hold on to every little thing that comes your way. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. Over time, you will find that the things that once bothered you no longer have the power to disturb your peace. Think of it like this. If you are a lake, and someone throws a stone into you, you don't have to hold on to the ripples. You can choose to let them go. And when you do, you'll find that your peace remains unshaken. You remain calm, steady, and strong, no matter what happens around you. This is the power of responding without absorbing. It's not about being perfect. It's about practicing. It's about learning to let go, to not take things personally, and to return to your natural state of peace. When you do this, you will find that the world around you becomes less overwhelming. You will find that you don't need to absorb the negativity of others. You can simply let it pass by, like water flowing over stones, and return to your own center. This is what the Buddha taught. This is the wisdom of Zen. And this is the path to peace. When you learn to respond without absorbing, you will experience a sense of freedom and joy that comes from within, not from others. You will realize that you have the power to shape your own inner world, no matter what the outer world may bring. So, take a moment to reflect. The next time someone throws a stone at you, will you let it disturb the waters of your mind, or will you let it sink into the depths, leaving your surface calm and clear? The choice is yours. No enemy within, mastering self over situations. Let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like life was an ongoing battle? It's like everything is a fight, isn't it? From the moment you wake up to the moment you fall asleep, you're constantly dealing with challenges, with people, with emotions. You try your best to handle it all, but sometimes it just feels like you're constantly at war. But what if I told you that the real battle, the one that truly matters, isn't with the world outside? It's with the world inside you. You see, we spend so much time fighting things, reacting to situations, and trying to control the world around us. But we forget that we have no control over many things, especially the actions of others. Someone cuts you off in traffic, and you feel your blood pressure rise. A colleague makes a sarcastic remark, and suddenly, your whole mood shifts. A friend ignores your message, and your mind goes into overdrive, wondering what you did wrong. We let other people's actions become a mirror of our own inner peace, as though we're letting their behavior decide how we feel. And when that happens, we lose control. We let them become the enemy. But the truth is, the real enemy isn't out there. It's within us. It's in the way we respond to life's challenges. It's in our thoughts, our feelings, in the stories we tell ourselves about the world. When we react to situations with anger, frustration, or sadness, it's not because of what others did. It's because we allowed their actions to trigger something within us, something we didn't even know was there. And when that happens, we lose our power. We become slaves to our emotions, and the world controls us. Now, don't get me wrong. We're all human. We all have our moments. But true mastery, true peace, comes when we can step back and observe the world without getting pulled into it. When we can see what's happening around us, without reacting from a place of fear or anger. And this is where Buddhism offers us a powerful tool, mindfulness. Mindfulness isn't just about being present in the moment. It's about learning to witness your thoughts and emotions without getting entangled in them. When you can watch your feelings rise and fall, without identifying with them, you begin to realize that you don't have to be ruled by your emotions. You are not your anger. You are not your frustration. You are not your sadness. These are just passing clouds in the vast sky of your mind. Imagine this. You're sitting in a peaceful garden, and you see a cloud drifting across the sky. The cloud is dark and heavy, maybe even a bit scary, but you don't get caught up in it. You don't chase it or try to push it away. You simply observe it, knowing that, in time, it will pass. This is what it means to master your inner world. To understand that just like clouds in the sky, your emotions are temporary. They don't define you. And most importantly, they don't control you. When you stop seeing others as the enemy, when you stop blaming people or situations for how you feel, you reclaim your power. The next time someone cuts you off in traffic, instead of feeling angry, you can pause and notice your breath. Instead of rushing to judge or react, you can simply observe your thoughts. I feel angry, you might say to yourself. But that doesn't mean I am angry. And in that moment, you've already taken the first step toward mastering yourself. But it's not just about observing your emotions. It's about understanding where they come from. The reason we react so strongly to the world around us is because we are attached to certain outcomes. We want things to go a certain way. We want people to treat us a certain way. We want our lives to be comfortable, safe, and predictable. But the reality is, life is not predictable. People will let us down. Things won't go the way we expect. And if we're attached to these expectations, we'll always be disappointed. This is where the Buddhist teaching of impermanence comes in. Everything changes. Every moment is different. Every person you meet, every situation you encounter, is constantly shifting. And when we can accept this, when we can embrace change instead of fighting it, we free ourselves from the constant stress of trying to control the uncontrollable. Think about it. If you stopped trying to control every situation, if you stopped expecting people to act a certain way, how would you feel? Free. You'd be free from the weight of others' actions. Free from the need for approval. Free from the constant push and pull of life's battles. And yet, this doesn't mean you become passive. It doesn't mean you stop caring about the world or other people. On the contrary, when you master yourself, you become more compassionate, more understanding. You can see others for who they truly are, not as threats or obstacles, but as fellow travelers on this journey of life. You can offer kindness without expecting anything in return. You can listen deeply, without judgment. And in doing so, you become a source of peace, not just for yourself, but for those around you. True mastery of self isn't about controlling every thought, every feeling, or every situation. It's about letting go. Letting go of the need to be right. Letting go of the need to be in control. Letting go of the need to hold on to every emotion as if it's a part of your identity. When you can do this, you become unshaken. You become like a tree with deep roots that bend in the wind but never break. The more you practice this inner stillness, the more you will find that the world around you becomes less of a battlefield. You won't feel as if you're constantly under attack. You won't feel as if you have to defend yourself at every turn. Instead, you will feel a quiet strength, a strength that comes from within, from the knowledge that no one can take away your peace unless you allow them to. So, let me leave you with this. The next time someone says something that bothers you, or the next time life throws an unexpected challenge your way, take a deep breath. Pause. Observe. And remember, the real enemy isn't out there. It's in here. It's in the way you respond. And when you can master your response, you master yourself. And when you master yourself, you become free. In Buddhism, we speak of the Bodhisattva, the one who has attained enlightenment but chooses to stay in the world to help others. The Bodhisattva is not someone who avoids life's challenges. Rather, they face them with a peaceful heart, knowing that no external circumstance can take away their inner peace. This is the kind of strength you can cultivate. So the next time life tests you, remember this. No one can be your enemy unless you let them. No situation can control you unless you allow it. The only true enemy is the one within. But once you master that, you will walk through life with grace, with peace, and with strength. Because the only thing that can truly affect you is your own mind. And when you master it, nothing and no one can take your peace away. Yes, my friend. Now sit comfortably. Take a breath. Let the world be as it is for just a little while. I will share something simple, but deep. Something that can help your heart stop shaking so often. Today, we speak of the middle way. The gentle path. The way that does not swing too far to either side. In a world of noise, opinions, anger, praise, blame, and fast feelings, the middle way is your quiet boat. And it floats not because the river is calm, but because it knows how to stay steady in any water. You see, most people are always swinging. One moment they are happy, the next moment angry. One morning they feel loved, by evening they feel forgotten. When someone agrees with them, they smile. When someone disagrees, they break. This is the life of someone without the middle way. But what if you could stay in the middle? Not cold, not distant, just peaceful, just clear. Let me tell you something you already know deep inside. Life is full of extremes. People speak too much or say nothing at all. They either praise or insult. The weather is too hot or too cold. People love us deeply or forget us completely. The world moves like a pendulum, and if you hang on to it, you will swing with it until you're exhausted. So, how do we stop? The Buddha saw this deeply. He tried extremes. He tried deep pleasures. He tried deep pain. He starved his body, tortured his mind, and chased silence in forests. And after all this, he sat under a tree and found something simple. The middle way. Not too tight. Not too loose. This is not just a story. It is your story too. Sometimes, you try to be too strong. You try to become stone so nothing touches you. You push people away. You say, I don't care. But inside, you care deeply. That is one extreme. Other times, you let everything come in. You let people's words break you. You carry everyone's moods like heavy bags. That is the other extreme. The middle way is different. It is where you care, but you are not controlled. You listen, but you are not shaken. You love, but you don't lose yourself. The middle way is not a weak path. It is the strongest. It's easy to react, easy to shout, easy to cry, easy to run away. But to stand still in the center and breathe, that takes courage. People will tell you, pick a side. But you don't have to. You can understand both sides without becoming either. You can be kind to someone you disagree with. You can stay quiet even when provoked. You can let people talk without losing your peace. This is not about pretending. It is about seeing clearly. When someone insults you, do you burn? If they praise you, do you fly? Why? Why give them that power? Why let their mood become your master? Walk the middle way. Smile gently. Speak slowly. Say what is true, not what wins. Sit with discomfort without running from it. And enjoy comfort without chasing more of it. A cup of tea, quietly drunk, can be more joyful than any loud celebration. A simple word spoken with care can heal more than hours of shouting. You don't need to fix everyone. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to explain your every action. These are extremes we fall into because we are afraid of being misunderstood. But peace comes not from being understood. It comes from understanding yourself. Ask yourself, why do I feel pulled in every direction? Why do I fear silence? Why do I need others to say I am right? This is the wisdom of the middle way. To live without needing the world to be different. If someone loves you today, be thankful. If they don't tomorrow, don't panic. If they agree, listen. If they disagree, learn. But don't build your home on their approval. Don't throw away your calm just to keep the peace outside. The world will not walk the middle way for you. You must walk it for yourself. And it is a lonely path sometimes. But it is full of beauty. When you are not chasing or running, you begin to see clearly. A bird on a branch. A breeze on your cheek. A smile from someone who knows nothing about your life, but still smiles. That is the gift of balance. You are not trying to win. You are not trying to hide. You are just present. This is also the key to not being affected by others. Because when you are in the middle, their emotions pass by like clouds in the sky. You see them. You don't become them. A man once asked the Buddha, "What do I gain by meditation?" The Buddha replied, "Nothing. But let me tell you what you lose: anger, anxiety, fear, insecurity, and the need to please everyone. That is the middle way. You may still feel hurt sometimes. You may still get angry. That's okay. The middle way is not perfect, but it is honest. You see your emotions, you breathe, and you return to the center. Again and again. That's the practice. You don't have to reject the world. You just don't have to absorb it all. So next time someone pushes you to react, pause. Breathe. Ask, is this the center? Is this balance? If not, wait. Let the emotion pass. Don't speak in anger. Don't defend your ego. Don't make decisions when you are out of balance. That's how you protect your peace. And know this, the middle way is not a weak surrender. It is the wise warrior's path. It says, I don't need to control you. I only need to guide myself. In your next conversation, try listening without preparing your reply. In your next argument, ask yourself if winning matters more than peace. In your next lonely moment, sit with yourself instead of reaching for noise. This is how you begin to live free. Not because the world is soft, but because you are strong in the middle of it. And in this way, step by step, you will no longer be easily affected. You will still feel, but you won't fall. That is the middle way. That is your path. The noble silence, power of words left unspoken. You've probably heard the saying, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Simple, isn't it? But have you ever stopped to think about how true that really is? How many times have you found yourself in a situation where a single word or a single comment made all the difference? Words have power, more power than we often realize. Imagine you're having a conversation, and someone says something that triggers an emotional response within you. You can feel it, can't you? The urge to respond, to defend yourself, to prove a point. It's like a reflex. And sometimes, when we do speak, it's like opening a floodgate. And once the words are out, there's no taking them back. But here's the thing. In the midst of all that, have you ever wondered if staying silent could be more powerful than reacting? What if, instead of trying to control the conversation, you chose to stay silent? Not out of anger or resentment, but out of wisdom and calm. In the teachings of Buddhism, silence is not seen as weakness or avoidance. It is seen as strength, a strength that arises from the ability to remain unshaken, unprovoked by the world outside. When we speak, we often seek validation, recognition, or to make an impression. But the truly wise understand that the most powerful words are often the ones left unsaid. Think about it. How many times have you spoken in the heat of the moment, only to regret it later? Words spoken in anger, frustration, or pride rarely lead to peace. They only fuel the fire. But silence creates space. Space for the mind to settle, space for clarity to emerge, space for understanding to arise. Have you ever noticed how when you stay silent, others around you often speak more? They reveal their true thoughts, their true feelings, and in doing so, they give you the opportunity to listen, not just to their words, but to their emotions, their fears, their hopes. In that silence, you gain insight. In that silence, you hold the power. In Buddhism, this practice is referred to as noble silence. It's not about shutting yourself off from the world. It's about choosing when to speak and when to remain silent, when to engage and when to step back. It's about understanding that silence is not empty. It is full of wisdom, compassion, and understanding. Think about the Buddha. He was known to speak only when his words would bring true benefit. He didn't waste his words on empty chatter, gossip, or opinions. His speech was intentional, purposeful, and guided by the desire to help others awaken to their true nature. This doesn't mean that we should never speak. It doesn't mean we should suppress our feelings or avoid expressing ourselves. No. What it means is that we should be mindful of when and how we speak. Are our words coming from a place of clarity, peace, and compassion? Or are they coming from a place of fear, pride, or anger? It's easy to get caught up in the constant stream of conversation. In today's world, we are surrounded by noise, social media, news, advertisements, conversations. Everyone has an opinion, and everyone wants to be heard. But in the midst of all this noise, there's a deeper kind of peace that comes from quietness. And it's in this quietness that true wisdom is born. When you choose to be silent, it's not about cutting off communication. It's about creating a space where communication can be more meaningful. Instead of reacting to every comment or statement, you step back, take a breath, and observe. You listen more deeply. And when you do speak, your words carry more weight, more meaning. They are no longer just a reaction to the world around you, but a reflection of your inner peace. Silence, in this sense, is not about avoiding conflict or ignoring others. It's about choosing a path of wisdom, It's about recognizing that sometimes our words can add fuel to a fire, and sometimes silence is the most powerful response. Silence can create a space where healing begins, where understanding grows, and where true connection happens. In a world that constantly demands our attention, silence is an act of rebellion. It's a declaration that we are not controlled by the noise. We are not defined by the opinions or judgments of others. We are not bound by the need to be heard. We are free to listen, to reflect, to understand, and to respond with intention. The Buddhist teachings on right speech, one of the components of the Noble Eightfold Path, encourage us to speak truthfully, kindly, and with compassion. But before we speak, we must first be able to listen to ourselves, to others, and to the silence in between. In our modern world, silence has become a rare commodity. We are always surrounded by noise, always distracted by the constant pull of the outside world. But the practice of silence, the ability to choose when and how to speak, is a practice of returning to our true selves. It's a practice of mindfulness and self-awareness. And it's a practice that allows us to live more peacefully, to respond more thoughtfully, and to connect with others on a deeper level. So, the next time you're in a conversation and you feel the urge to speak, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is what I am about to say truly necessary? Will it contribute to peace, to understanding, to connection? Or will it simply add to the noise? If you find that silence is the better option, then choose silence. And in that silence, you will find a deep and unshakable peace that no words can ever take away. Unshaken Soul, Final Reflections and Lifelong Practice. You've walked with me for these 12 parts, through the winding path of wisdom. Each step has been an invitation to stop, to pause, to reflect. But now, as we reach the end, I want to leave you with something simple yet powerful. The journey doesn't end here. In fact, it has only just begun. You may have already noticed something inside you shifting. Perhaps it's a quiet space that wasn't there before. Or maybe it's a growing awareness of how often the world tries to pull you in different directions. But what if I told you that the calm you feel right now, this stillness, is not a temporary gift? It's something you can carry with you every day. In Buddhism, there's an understanding that life is impermanent. The only thing constant is change. So, the pain, the challenges, the conflicts we experience, they too are part of that flow. Everything comes and goes, like clouds passing through the sky. But what remains? What stays? The sky itself. The space in which everything appears and disappears. This is the place where peace is born within you. It's not something you have to chase or seek from the outside. It's already here, waiting. But you must learn how to uncover it. You must learn how to be the sky, the unshaken space in the midst of life storms. Think about your life for a moment. All the moments that have come and gone. The people who have passed through your story, some who have stayed, others who have left. The words they spoke, the things they did. There were times when their actions hurt you. There were times when their words took up residence in your heart. But what I want to tell you now is this. You don't have to carry that weight anymore. You don't need to hold on to anything that doesn't serve your peace. Imagine what it would be like to simply let go. Let go of the anger, the resentment, the frustration. Not because you're weak or forgiving others for their wrongs, but because you are strong enough to free yourself from the hold they have over your mind. There's a beautiful teaching in Buddhism about the two arrows. The first arrow is the pain that life inevitably gives us. Someone hurts us, something doesn't go as planned. The second arrow, however, is the suffering we create when we react to that pain. When we replay the event over and over in our minds, when we let it shape our mood, when we allow it to define our day. The second arrow is the one we always have the power to avoid. You see, life will continue to throw challenges your way. There will always be people who disagree with you, situations that disappoint you, moments that make you question everything. But here's the truth. The moment you stop reacting to them, the moment you stop letting them control your peace, that's when you've truly mastered yourself. In this final part, I want you to remember one key idea. You are not the sum of your reactions. You are not defined by what others do or say. You are the space in which those things appear and disappear. Look at the world around you right now. The sky, the trees, the people you love, the ones you struggle to understand. They are all part of the dance of life. And as the dance unfolds, you have the choice of how to respond. Will you react with anger? Will you react with frustration? Or will you take a deep breath, step back, and simply observe? This is what it means to have an unshaken soul. To be like a tree in the wind, anchored deeply in the earth, yet flexible enough to bend with the breeze. The storms of life will come. They always do. But you have the power to stand strong, not because you fight the wind, but because you understand that you don't need to be swept away by it. You are not your anger. You are not your pain. You are not the opinions of others. You are the awareness of those things. And once you realize that, the world cannot touch your peace. Living this way doesn't mean becoming numb or indifferent. It means choosing peace over conflict, choosing stillness over chaos, and choosing to be grounded no matter what happens. It's about understanding that your happiness is not dependent on anyone else, but on your ability to stay anchored in your own center. So as we part ways, remember this: you don't have to be perfect. This is not about controlling everything around you or becoming someone you're not. It's about letting go of the idea that you need to control what happens to you. Life is unpredictable. People are unpredictable. But you are always at the center of your experience. Every time you feel pulled or affected by someone or something, come back to the breath. Come back to the awareness that you are not what happens to you. You are the one who chooses how to respond. The Buddha said, "You will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger." Remember this. You don't have to let your emotions control you. You don't have to let someone else's behavior determine your happiness. As you continue your journey, I invite you to sit quietly each day for a few minutes. Just breathe, let go, and notice what happens inside you. Over time, you will see that peace is not a fleeting moment. It is a state of being that you can live in, no matter what the world throws at you. Finally, if you remember nothing else, remember this: you are the sky. You are the stillness. You are the unshaken soul in the midst of the storm. And once you truly understand this, nothing at all can take your peace. Thank you for walking this path with me. May your journey be filled with wisdom, peace, and an ever-deepening sense of your true self. And now, as we close, I ask you to take a deep breath and feel the peace inside you. This is your peace. No one can take it. No one can shake it. It is yours forever. Goodbye for now. And remember, the peace you seek is already within you.